Hi everybody, thank you for joining us. I'm Mark McRoy. We're joining you today from the Colleton Commercial Kitchen in downtown Walterboro. We're going to have a wonderful time. We're going to have bluefin tuna, which was given to me by a very good friend of mine who's a much better fisherman than I am, and a mango salsa to go on top of the fish with white jasmine rice that we get here in Colleton County. They grow it right here in Walterboro. Well, not in Walterboro, but anyway, low country. We're going to have a everything cookie with chocolate ganache. We'll get started right now with our cookies. We're going to have, and again, these are everything cookies, and it's made, this is a recipe from Miss Sophie, if any of y'all remember her. She was a very wonderful lady in Smokes who evidently made the best cookies in the world. We've pre-softened our butter that we also get right here in the Low Country Kitchen, over here in the guest area of the commercial kitchen. They have all kind of very nice things. Some locally produced honey. What else? Yeah, some wonderful whole milk. It is pasteurized, but it's not homogenized. So when you drink it, you get that wonderful milkshake that you get. These are some farm fresh eggs that we got from a good friend of mine, Reuben Myers. And any of y'all who do any baking at all know that farm fresh eggs are the best thing in the world. Especially if you're making a yellow cake or a cheesecake, it's like you put batteries in the batter. It just lights up, the color's better, the flavor's better. There's just nothing bad about it. Got a nice little consistency with our pre-softened butter, a little brown sugar. Usually it's best if you put your sugar, your flour, and your eggs together first, and you get this great granular finish. And if everybody wasn't here watching, I would be eating it right now. But since people are paying attention, we have to behave. Brown sugar's added. The recipe calls for oil. And I know those of you, some friends of mine join me and they're telling me, Mark, cut back on this, cut back on that, but we're making a cookie, for crying out loud. It's not going to be healthy. So what we're going to do, instead of using oil, I'm using butter flavored Crisco. And this adds, it makes the cookies fluffier, it adds all kind of flavor. And yes, it adds those wonderful things that harden your arteries. But other than that, it makes a darn good cookie. So we're going to put that in there. When you use a pinch of salt, as my grandmother would do, that was a pinch. Very, very technical measurement. Quarter tablespoon of baking soda, and that was a quarter tablespoon. Feel free to check behind me if you'd like. Okay. I'm going to add the flour, 3½ cups of flour. If you want the cake or the cookie to be a little bit richer, and I've pre-sifted this, pre-measured it, so again, you have to trust me on that. But the flour, we're using Adaloo flour. They make it right in downtown Columbia, and you might not think so, but I'm telling you, it makes a difference. I bake probably 60 pound cakes for Christmas to give away as gifts every year. And this year, I love that cloud. That also comes from pre-sifting. But I had so many nice comments this year about my cakes, and the only difference I used farm fresh eggs and I used Adaloo flour. Teaspoon of vanilla, and we're using bourbon vanilla. It doesn't have bourbon in it, but it's Madagascar organic bourbon vanilla. But the Madagascar bourbon vanilla is just second to none. It does have alcohol in it, but it's not bourbon alcohol. I think it must be an island of bourbon. Probably need to research that. Okay, now add our pecans, or from those of you who aren't from around here, pecans. Okay, and last but not least, cornflakes. And it says crushed, so that's what I'm doing, crushing them. They're going to get crushed up when you turn on the mixer anyway. I am making such a mess, and I'm having so much fun. A little more butter. There we go. It's easy, even easy to clean up. Okay. One more time. Get all this stuff out. Yes, if you put another egg in there, it would take away from this, but it would mess up your consistency, and then you'd end up with the cakes wouldn't keep the body as well. Okay. Scrape that out. Fold it in one time. Ah! Equipment failure. Got that all mixed up. We've preheated our oven at 300 degrees, and we're going to let this cook for 12 minutes. Last night, for whatever reason, my oven may have been off. It was 15 minutes. Just keep an eye on it. When they start to brown around the bottom, they're done. If you take them out early, they will be moister, but they'll break when we're putting the ganache on them. Perfect unit of measurement. A spoonful. Okay. Folks, we're going to put this in the oven and let it sit for 12, 15 minutes, and we'll be done with it. We can come right back, clean up my mess, and we'll get started with our chocolate ganache. Thanks for joining us. Welcome back to Cooking with PRTC. We're going to get started on our ganache, and it's simple. All we're doing is pretty much melting chocolate with butter and bourbon and vanilla, all the things that make life worthwhile, and of course some cream. Of course, we're here at the Colleton Museum and Kitchen, which is just fantastic. But they've got the milk here is, and I've already talked about it, is so rich. You can use that instead of cream. I tell you what, it is just wonderful. If you remember going to your grandparents or a farm or anything when you were a child and you had the just milk fresh out of the tap, this is what it is. Whole milk. It is pasteurized, so you don't have to worry about the germs, but it's not homogenized, so it's not separated. And I'm telling you what, it is just like drinking pure cream. It is wonderful. And yes, I know it's bad for me, but it just tastes so good. We're going to start out with about 10 ounces of regular semi-sweet chocolate chips and 10 ounces of dark chocolate chips. They've got 85% cocoa in them, and they are just wonderful. They're not too sweet, but it's got a really good chocolate flavor to it. I also put in 4 ounces of Andes mints, so it gives the chocolate just a little bit different texture, but they are just absolutely great. And you know, mint and chocolate go well together. We'll stir this up, add a touch of our vanilla, about 3 ounces of bourbon, and you know, if you go a little heavy on the bourbon, that's good. You can never have too much bourbon. Stir this up, and all we're doing is melting it. We have to check our cookies real quick. They got a few more minutes. Oh man, that mint and bourbon is just wonderful. I wonder if that's how they came up with the, what is that, the mint julep? Bourbon and mint. Add our heavy cream. Once all this melts and gets together, we're going to have to put it in the refrigerator and let it cool for about 4 hours. And it gets it to a spreadable consistency. It's not like Nutella or peanut butter, but it's really like a very thick homemade chocolate icing. And again, I don't know my French, but it has got to translate into just darn good stuff. Okay. Medium heat is all you need. And you can feel it. It's a lot like a gravy almost, that you can feel it solidifying again after it breaks down. Okay. Look at that. Oh boy. Okay. We'll get our cookies out here in just a minute. Like I said, we're going to cover this, stick it in our refrigerator, make sure we get everything melted. and we'll check on it in about 4 hours. It'll be ready to go. I've got a friend of mine out here in the audience. I wonder what this would taste like. It's just an icing for a cake. Oh my goodness. Okay. That's perfect. All right. Put that right there. Cover this up. We'll come back and get started on our vegetables, and we'll put our rice on so it can cook, and then we're going to get to the really good stuff, our bluefin tuna. Thanks for joining us. On our mango chutney, I've already gone ahead and peeled 4 of the mangoes. The recipe calls for 2.5 pounds of mangoes. The mango, I tell you the truth, I have never appreciated these things until I started cooking with them, but this thing is just wonderful. The consistency you're looking for is just something that barely gives under your grip. You don't want to bruise it, obviously, but you just want to have some little give to it. And they are so sweet and just wonderful. It's got a oblong, just seed in it, I guess, for all it is. But if they're just right, the knife just comes off and just peels the skin just perfectly. But when you finish cutting it, you can't get down to the seed enough. And the seed is absolutely, it's like pine bark. It's just abrasive. I swear you could strip paint with it. But the stuff just tastes so good you can't stop eating it. Just cut it up. I'll show you this seed when we get down to it. Good sharp knife. Just be careful. We don't want any red mangoes. Okay. And that's, when you get down to it, you know it, because it's just a whole different consistency. Okay. There we go. And that's the seed. It's kind of funny looking. All right. We're going to chop this up without cutting our fingers. I did not try this with a food processor because this is kind of soft and I don't want it to just get ruined and turn into a paste. We want the shape and the different texture of it. And if we put it in a food processor, it'd probably make a great daiquiri, but it just wouldn't be good as a chutney. Okay, now put that right there. Okay. I'm going to spare y'all trying to eat that. Okay. Now, we're going to do a little red pepper. And we went and got these from the market here at the museum and the kitchen. People are just as nice as they can be. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, heck, I bought onions and some squash and some bell peppers and some zucchini. I don't think I spent $4. Couldn't believe it. It's a lot cheaper than on the side of the road somewhere. Hope they're making it up in volume, but the people were just as nice as they could be. I was going to use an entire red pepper, but since we went ahead and bought the green ones, were just too pretty to pass up. So I'm going to use a half a green one and a half a red one. Yeah. If you see whoever I got the recipe from and they say anything, they know me. And they know I don't listen well. Okay. Okay. We got our cup of bell pepper. We're going to do a cup of onion. We're going to use 2 ounces of fresh ginger. Fresh is as good as I could get was in a jar. I'm sorry. But and all I'm going to do is dice this up as well. It cuts well. It's got a good consistency to it, but there's absolutely no rhyme or reason. There's no veins. I mean, you can't follow a pattern. So just cut it, squish it all back together, and cut it again. This stuff has got the best flavor of anything. I mean, it's just strong. A little of it goes a long way. If you've ever eaten sushi, you know they always have a couple of bits of ginger beside it. I always thought it was expensive. Heck, 11-ounce jar was like $3. Okay, got all that right there. Now we're going to do an onion. So next time you order chutney out, I want you to appreciate how much work it is. And the red onion, we got this from right outside as well. And I don't know how often you buy red onions, but anytime I go to the grocery store, it's like you have to buy 2 of them because half of the silly thing is rotten. That thing is beautiful. We're going to use a half of a red one and half of a white one. All right, folks, we're going to step over to the other side of the oven where we can have a little heat with our spices. We're going to mix the chili or the red pepper with the olive oil, and then we're going to mix all this in there and we'll let it sit and serve that over our fish. We'll get our rice going, and soon we're going to grill our tuna, knock this thing out. Thank y'all for joining us. Hey everybody, welcome back. We've got our mango chutney started. It's cooking. The cookies are done. We're going to get ready with the rice, and then we'll jump on the fish. A couple ounces of olive oil. Just let that heat. A little bit of onion. And I have been told that I put onion on everything. It's not true. I did not have any on my cornflakes this morning. But it is good stuff. Our rice recipe is simply onions, a little olive oil, and we'll put some garlic salt in there, and a little chicken bouillon. About 2 tablespoons. About 1 tablespoon of that. We'll stir this up and just let that caramelize. And just get going. Okay. 2 cups of water. 1 cup of rice. You have to let it come to a boil, otherwise it won't cook. And there's nothing in the world worse than crunchy rice. Cover that. Let's check on our chutney here. While you were gone, I looked at the recipe, and I had left something out. 1 cup of white raisins. Just absolutely adds a lot of flavor to it. I assume you could use the red raisins if you like, but the white goes good with the mangoes and the sweetness. Again, this is going to be some sweet stuff between the pineapple and the mango, but the raisins are a nice texture, good change, and I love the color. You have so many colors. This is going to be just fantastic. Okay. Cover that up. Our industrial oven is working great. We've got 1 cup of rice. Okay. Stir that 1 time. And buddy, if you ever want to get hit with a spoon in my house, come over and take my mom's top off of her bowl when she's cooking rice. All right, we're going to turn that down to low and let it cook for 20 minutes, and it'll be done. Now we're going to take a break, get our fish ready. The fish is simple. All we're going to do is put a little olive oil on it, a little oregano, a little sage, not oregano, a little lime, and just grill it. It'll be perfect. All this is going to come together. Welcome back. We're going to get started with our tuna. And tuna is just like the mahi we've cooked or shrimp or anything else. But if you get a piece of fish and you can smell it like that and there's no odor, that's fresh fish. Easy to prepare. Do a little olive oil. This is primarily just to keep it from sticking to the pan or the grill. And the great thing about dolphin, tuna, pretty much any kind of game fish, you want to cook the fish just like you do your steak. If you like your steak rare, eat your tuna rare. If you like your steak well done, don't eat tuna. That's all there is to it. A little bit of garlic salt, a little bit of kosher salt. I like the coarse koshers or any kind of coarse salt. The red Hungarian, again, is delicious. This is tarragon, and tarragon just complements fish wonderfully. Do a little lemon. Flip it over so we can do the same thing to the other side. We've already got the oil on there. Oh man, this is already smelling great. A little garlic. If you like minced garlic, you can put that on there. The garlic salt is perfect and it doesn't fall off the fish as easily. And a little lemon. We're going to take the other half of the lemon with us, and when we get on the grill, we're going to put that on there again. There we go. Put this back on our plate. Folks, I cannot tell you enough about this. You could eat this right now just how it is. This is the best fish in the world. Come on over here to the grill. Showed you this earlier. This is great for anything with a grate. If you're going to grill out on your oven, out on your grill outside, fish comes apart. It's very delicate. So what we're going to do is let this heat up. We've already sprayed it with our Pam or vegetable oil or whatever. Look at the size of these things. They're already coming apart. Oh, wow. All right. Good medium heat. We're not in a rush. Again, this thing is so delicate. As soon as it starts to change color, we're going to flip it over and it'll be done. If you do like your fish a little bit done or your meat a little bit done, let it stay on there a little longer. But for crying out loud, this stuff is so good, don't overcook it. You will ruin it. And it tastes good just how it is. We've taken our pan off and we're just going to sear this tuna just so we can get those beautiful lines on there, get a little bit more of that flavor, and make it look like it was really on a grill. It's sticking together great. We're going to take a break, plate this, and come right back and chow down. This is going to be welcome back to Cooking with PRTC. Thank you. This is Gail and Kent Bosworth from the Bosworth Group in Charleston. They came all the way down to join us to eat our food today. We have our yellow jasmine rice with chicken bouillon and garlic and olive oil with some browned onion, tuna with tarragon and lemon grilled, and our mango chutney. Also, we have our world's best cookies with a chocolate ganache. Please dig in and let me know what you think about it.
All right.
And again, thank y'all for coming all the way from Charleston. And I hope I didn't overcook the fish. Got my fingers crossed, everybody.
Magnificent.
I was going to say magnifico.
Well, thank you.
Don't say that.
Okay. Y'all, thanks for joining us. We had a great audience today. A lot of fun. See you next time on Cooking with PRTC.